Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily. I'm a third year foundation phase student in South Africa, and today is a long awaited video. We are going to talk about how you can navigate and use the Afrikaans or English home language CAPS document for grade R to grade 3, which is foundation phase. So I have an Afrikaans one because, as many of you probably already know, is I'm studying at an Afrikaans university, so most of my languages and most of my lesson plans and home language lesson plans are in Afrikaans. But you can navigate the English home language exactly the same way. It's all the same information, just translated in English. So first things first is, once again, like I have with my life skills, I have these little tabs. It was just easier to put in these tabs instead of adding the terms as well. Normally I add the terms down here. And in all honesty, I was just a little bit too lazy to do that. But this works really well. So of course we have grade R to grade 3. Term 1 to term 4 for each of them. So yeah, let's just hop right into it. So the first page you will see in all the CAPS documents, even in senior phase, are always a little message, I guess, or approved piece of paper from our Minister of Education, of Basic Education. And then you will get your contents page, which tells you where to find everything. So first things first is what you will find in the CAPS document is, if I open it up, is just basically an overview of what the CAPS document is, why we need it, why South Africa uses it, when we started using it, all that, if I could say it this way, boring information. Even though a lot of us, in first year we kind of had to know this information. And it just basically gives a background and an overview of all of that stuff. Then the next thing you'll find is that you'll find these little tables and stuff. And basically these tables are the hour allocations per week, per grade for this subject. So this subject is obviously home language. Sorry, it's not just the subject's hours. It's all the subjects. This is a basic that you'll find in all the CAPS documents as well. So for home language, every single week for grade R is, say now, 10 hours a week that you have to split up and you have to decide. And then for grade 1 and 2, it's 7 to 8 weeks. Why do I keep saying week? Hours. And then grade 3 is also 7 to 8 hours. So the total learning hours, that includes maths, life skills and languages. So in grade 1 they do first additional language as well, and I will get to that CAPS document, but today we are just doing home language. Is 25 hours. Well, for grade R to grade 2 is 23 hours, and then grade 3 is 25 hours. I'm not sure if anyone else has really noticed that grade 3s actually come out later. Their school day is longer, but it makes sense now. I only clicked the other day. But yeah, and then it just gives you a little bit of information about foundation phase, and then underneath that is the intermediate phase, and on the next page I'm pretty sure you'll have senior phase, and then you'll have FET, which is FET, which is grade 10 to 12. I think that's what FET is, or FET is further education. I'm not sure. I think it counts from grade 10 because technically that is further education, because you are allowed to leave school in grade 9. But I wouldn't recommend that. But let's just carry right on. You will then have an introduction to languages, and it will give you what it consists of. So home language consists of listening and speaking, reading and sounds of klanke. I'm not really sure. I would call it a sound but I could be wrong. It could be a phonetical sound or something. There's Rosie in the background. And then the last one is writing and handwriting. Those are the main things that we touch on. And then it also just gives you another little table at the bottom here of how many hours per grade, per and the dogs are all walking around in the background, so please just ignore them. But it gives you a total amount of hours per grade per week. Yeah, super easy. So let's see what's on the next page. I'm basically just explaining the actual topics of what you teach is so much easier, but it's good to understand the beginning of the CAPS document. It's actually very important to understand the beginning of the CAPS document, because it really helps you plan. If I could put it like that, your planning becomes a lot easier when you understand the beginning of the CAPS document as well. So what I like about the home language is that it actually allocates per week. So those three things that I mentioned previously, the listening and the speaking and all of that, those need allocated amount of time, an allocated amount of time in the week. So we need 10 hours per week, for example, but then what do you do with those 10 hours? And this is what you do. So it gives you a nice table over here. So for example, grade 1, listening and speaking is 15 minutes per day for 3 days. So in total, that is 45 minutes that you will do a week on listening and speaking. Then reading and sounds take up a lot of time, because it is, and there's a chicken, because it is divided into, you do sounds, you do reading, you do group reading, and yeah, please ignore all the animals around me, but you do all of that, and that actually takes up 4 hours and 30 minutes in your week. So that actually takes up the most time. But then they give you all of that. So it then goes on to talk about all the different assessments, and you can just read through all of that. And then on page, or my page 21, they go on to talk about grade R and all the things you need to know and the things that are necessary to know there, because grade R, the curriculum and the way of teaching and everything is very different to grade 2 to 3. Grade 1 to 3. So you carry on to the next page, and it actually gives you, so you go on to the next page, and it actually gives you an example of a daily program for grade R. So only grade R's have a daily program. Grade 1 to 3 does not, because it is formal teaching or formal schooling. We will then go on to page 24, and this is very, very important, because it forms part of your referencing. So here it will say, I've just highlighted a few things here and there, but basically it gives you an overview of what you are going to teach per grade, and that is very important to add into your lesson plans, because it forms part of your referencing. So that carries on for quite a few pages, and then we get to page 31, and this is where things get interesting but actually are really easy to understand. So we are under grade R term 1, and what you'll find is that it will actually show you the subheadings. So a lot of the lessons work under subheadings. So if you're doing a reading lesson, of course it would be under reading and sounds, but if you're giving a listening and speaking lesson, it will be under listening and speaking. So that makes referencing really, really easy, and what I like about it is it does give you some examples. It literally says exactly what you need to be teaching and what needs to be covered in term 1 under listening and speaking. And my favorite part is that it actually shows you exactly what to assess in this gray block over there. And for the rest of it, that's exactly how every single grade works. So under grade 1, it will be listening and speaking, it will be reading and sounds, and writing and handwriting. Those are the 3 main topics that you would be teaching, and it gives you exactly what you need to do per term. So for example, grade R is different because they do emergent reading and emergent writing. They don't do normal writing, if I could call it that, because they are not doing formal schooling, if that makes sense. But if I go under grade 1, listening and speaking, for example, it gives you the amount that you need to do per week, the amount of time that you need to do per week. And what I like about it is here it says week 1 to 5, so it shows you exactly what you need to do in week 1 to 5, what you need to cover, so that they can succeed in their assessments. That is what I want to say. So under term 1 you need to cover all of these, but it's pretty easy to cover them because, like you saw in the schedule that I showed before, there are certain time allocations for all of these things per week. And yeah, so that is basically how to read the home language CAPS document for foundation phase. It's really simple, really straightforward. I hope this video made sense, and I really hope that it did help. Just again, a quick reminder that if you have the English home language CAPS document, it works exactly the same way. It's fairly simple. And yeah, so that is the video for today. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope that it was helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and share it with a teacher friend or a teacher student friend that you know would also appreciate and use this video. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye.